And welcome to the Independent Writer Show. How you guys doing on all the platforms that we are on? We got Chris Pruitt. He is from the USCCA. We're going to be talking about some concealed carry stuff today for all you guys. I'm going to be interviewing him for about 15, 20 minutes, and then we're going to get the rest of the independent writers in here. So if you're into the Second Amendment stuff and you carry a gun, here we go. We're going to be talking with Chris. He's going to give all of us some knowledge right here. How you guys doing in the chat room? I guess we're live streaming on all the independent writers except Dark Soul because he's a loser and don't have 100 subs. So get over there and subscribe.
Sub to Dark Soul.
Chris, how you doing? Welcome to the show. How are you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great today. I appreciate you guys having me today.
Rock and roll, man. We appreciate you coming on to talk about all this stuff with us boneheads and meatballs out there in the internet land. How you doing, 360 Steven? So tell us about USCCA, if you would.
So USCCA, it's a member organization. It really is designed to help you in three major categories when you talk about self-defense. It's mentally, physically, and legally. So realistically, what the USCCA's goal is to be, that holistic company when it comes to firearm needs. Everywhere from the very beginning where you're just deciding whether or not you even want to own a firearm, educating you, being there during the process of helping you save your life if you're ever forced to defend yourself, and then also having an insurance benefit on the back end in the case that you have to legally defend yourself, which can be even more complicated.
Mm-hmm. You say legally defend yourself. What do you mean by that?
So if you lawfully defend yourself, the prosecutor still has the decision to determine whether or not they're going to charge you. So you could have done everything right in this situation, and the prosecutor thinks they have a case, they may still bring charges up on you.
Let's stop right there. It's kind of murky in a gray and black area when you say lawfully. When you had a kid, Kyle Rittenhouse, that did everything right. Why shouldn't that scare gun owners into thinking that they might go to jail?
I mean, the theory is we want to avoid anybody going to jail. You want to act lawfully, and if you're ever forced to defend yourself, we want to make sure that you have the resources in order to know how to save your life properly, understand the ins and outs of every self-defense law, and make sure we provide you with the resources and know that you are doing it lawfully and to avoid staying out of jail in the first place.
What resources do you supply to? Is this a membership deal that you guys are, or?
Yeah, absolutely. So there's membership portions. There's gold, platinum, leader, the three membership levels. The major difference is the amount of training that you actually receive. The insurance benefit's going to stay the same across all three levels, but some of the resources are, education through e-learning and ebooks to make sure that you understand what you're doing and why you're doing it. There's also, there's a reciprocity app, which, is phenomenal for people who are traveling across the country, because what it will do is it'll actually, if you turn your location services on, it'll actually ding and notify your phone if you're traveling into a state where your permit is not honored. So when or if you have to put your firearm away. And then right below there, there's a button that says state laws that breaks down every state law of whatever state you're looking to click. Say Maryland, for instance, you click Maryland, it'll show you the laws for that specific state. So if you're transporting a firearm through that state, well, how do I lawfully do that? How do I know how to properly store that firearm based off of that state specific laws? It's easy to access right there on the app so that you have a full understanding of where you're going and what you're doing.
Rock on. We have Black Dragon, my crime partner, in here. He does a lot of interviews with me. Bedlam just came in, so Black Dragon, let's get you in because I tried to get one of my independent writers, Dark Soul, to interview with me, but he wants to just sit by, so I'm gonna bring you in here and interview as well. This is Chris. He's with the USCCA. And he has some good stuff he's about to talk about. What do you think about the state of gun laws right now in a lot of these liberal cities, BD?
So first of all, Chris, good to meet you. I see you guys commercials on YouTube all the time. I believe it is.
Yeah, me too.
And I just wonder how much of that. I'm glad to get to talk to you because I wonder how much of that is true. Don't you guys have the insurance? Because I know personally 4 people here in Georgia that have killed someone in self-defense. 2 of them in my motorcycle club, 3 of them in my motorcycle club, and then 1 is a colleague I worked with for many years. And every single one of those guys, legal card carrying dudes, one guy, a friend of mine named Myron Petro, killed a dude here who had stabbed his wife in a store 25 times. By the time he got there, he wrestled the guy off of the woman. The guy ran out the front door and came around the back. He goes to his car to get his weapon. He comes back to the store and the guy is stabbing her another 20 sometimes. He killed that guy. And in every one of those situations, every one of those dudes thought they were going to go to prison up until the time that they didn't. So all of this stand your ground and all this kind of stuff, it works so. So I what do I think about the laws, Hollywood? I think that if you're carrying a concealed weapon, it just depends on what prosecutor you get. Even if you're saving your own life, even if you're saving another person's life, you could be facing hell. So something like something that Chris Pruitt has, if it works, if it really is a system that is going to get you an attorney and this kind of stuff, I would be all for it. So I'm just like geeked at being able to interview you, Chris, and put you through the screws here on Hollywood Show.
Hey, Chris, what do you say about that? Now, something like that would be a no-brainer. Here is a dude stabbing this woman, and you go out there, grab your piece, and you light them up. But the next thing you got to do is worry about being thrown in jail. What does the USCCA do if he was a member?
So as a member, the way the insurance benefit operates is you become an additional insured on this self-defense liability insurance policy issued to the USCCA. So self-defense isn't always a firearm, so it's important to note that as well. But the coverage limits of the insurance benefit are $2 million annually for damages in the case they're awarded in civil court. So that component is if they try to sue you after the fact of the incident. Right. Say, for instance, someone gets injured. They end up in the hospital after you lawfully defended yourself and they try to sue you. That's where that bucket is more so designed. And then there's no limit for defense expenses in both civil and criminal court. So what that means is that's the actual funds available for things like an expert witness or actual attorney fees and retainers and stuff of that nature.
Now, so how do you guys go about determining if it was a good shoot or not before you pay out?
So they pay out on the front end, and then there is a clause for recruitment in the case that they're found guilty. But if you're it comes down to a lawful act of self-defense, right? That's based off of the court system, and a good attorney, if you did the right things, isn't going to have an issue proving that.
But wait a minute. If you go to jail, though, and do you still pay if you get sued?
If you are deemed, if it is a situation where, say, you are convicted of the crime itself, then no, funds would not be available for that because it wouldn't be a lawful act, right?
Okay. All right.
So you can't just say, okay, well, you're a criminal. You murdered that guy in cold blood. Here's $2 million to pay out the settlement. Right.
Okay. Yeah.
It's not like that. It's if you lawfully defend yourself and you have no limit to the amount that you can pay for an attorney, well, you're going to get a good enough attorney that he's going to be able to articulate why this was justifiable. And in the first place, that's not something that's going to put you in that position where you even have to worry about that. As long as you're acting lawfully and you have the resources to get a phenomenal attorney, you're not going to be represented by someone like a public defender.
That's
Nothing wrong
why.
with public defenders.
That's
I
why
love
I'm
them, but
using
they're
your
overworked.
insurance, though. That's why I'm using your insurance. So I can't afford an attorney. I'd have to go with a public defender. There's no way in the world.
Exactly. And that's the exact reason why the insurance benefit is there.
If I'm in
Because
jail,
the
it
average
does me no
person
good.
doesn't have access to those funds.
Are you? Do you get the attorney for me?
So we will contact the attorney. There is an attorney network of over 1,200 attorneys throughout the course of the United States. They're present in all 50 states of the United States. But in that situation, say you're driving down the road and you see a billboard of a defense attorney that you know nothing about, and you're like, hey, I want that guy. You do have the right to choose what attorney you actually use, which is important because I strongly believe you should be able to vet the attorney that you're going to use before you actually use them. So you should have the choice in that situation. But if you have no clue, we have already done that vetting process to make sure that they are very good candidates for who you should be choosing to defend you.
Okay.
Thank you.
BD. Go ahead. You got another one?
So how many clients do you guys have? And are you just in the United States, or are you other places?
Yes, we are just in the United States. We're currently sitting over 600,000 members, which in my opinion is very small. It's more so not that people disagree with what we do. It's just that they don't know that resources like this are even available.
Right. So
well, hopefully they do now. Go ahead, BD.
So you handle if somebody sues you, do you handle if I'm arrested? Do your attorneys take care of me in a civil what is that word?
Criminal case.
Criminal. Thank you. In a criminal case?
Yes, absolutely. It's both components. So that no limit for defense expenses, it is for both civil and criminal court.
Okay.
And what's the
Go
name
ahead.
of your company again for folks that are just now tuning in?
It's the United States Concealed Carry Association, more formally known as USCCA.
Well, here's one for you, Chris. I'm going to take one question, then we'll get back to the interview. This is from Toby. My question is, why do I need an exceptional attorney or any attorney when I'm defending myself and there are eyewitnesses or even video footage?
Unfortunately, a lot of what we see is there's a famous author by the name of Varg Freeborn. He's a phenomenal self-defense author. Highly recommend his books. One of my favorite quotes from him is, you only have the rights that you have enough money to hire an attorney to defend. And it is very, very true and prevalent in today's society.
Yeah.
If you don't have the money to have a good attorney, you end up with a public defender. And how many rights do you truly have in that situation?
Right.
Whereas if you have the monetary funds to be able to pay for a high-end attorney that you otherwise would not have been able to afford, how does that look in the outcome most times?
So does your service only cover self-defense issues?
Yes.
So if I got in a car accident,
but it's not just firearms.
Right. But so if I got in a car accident, I couldn't call you guys and say, hey, I need a lawyer.
Correct.
Okay.
It's very specific to self-defense itself.
Right. Okay.
Unless the guy got out of the car and went to beat your ass and you shot him.
Oh yeah.
So your company has a few different pieces when you join and you get membership. So you join, and then you have training, and then you have a skills test in a classroom.
Correct.
And so let's talk about the training for a second. So when you join, you go to your website, you join, and I guess you get to choose from 3 levels of membership. What are the 3 levels?
The 3 levels are gold, platinum, and elite.
And what are the difference in the levels?
The only difference is the amount of training that you receive access to. And the reason that's so important is because when we think about the insurance benefit, everybody likes the concept. But what good is that if we don't know how to save our life in the first place? So understanding that holistic mindset of how do I lawfully defend myself, understanding the laws, understanding things you may need to do. A lot of people hit tunnel vision because they're unprepared. The one thing I stress when I speak to people is you are prepping for the worst day of your life. Unfortunately, a lot of people train for the best case scenario of that worst day.
Mm-hmm.
I know a lot of people who carry a gun every single day. They've had concealed carry for 10 plus years. And when I ask them, when's the last time they practiced drawing from a holster? They go, well, I've never done that.
That's something you do as a kid. Come on.
But people don't train stuff like malfunctions. People don't go out and train for multiple threats.
No.
People don't train for, well, what's beyond my target, right? Do I need to clear a better lane? Understanding the difference between something like cover and concealment. You know, if I'm behind a car, we watch movies and you see a cop or you see a bad guy hide directly behind a car door. Have you ever seen a bullet go through a car door?
Yep.
Goes through that car door and 3 sets of cars down. It's not the best place to be. That's more of cover, where concealment is more of, you know, you're hiding behind that engine block, something that actually has stopping power. These are some of the educational tools that you're going to pull out of these trainings that are going to trigger the second you're in a self-defense incident and put you in a much better situation to be able to save your life in the first place.
Well, I feel if you have a concealed carry permit, you should have to do a training course such as what you're talking about, where you go through different scenarios and so forth.
I absolutely don't feel that way.
I don't either.
I absolutely don't feel that way, because that puts a barrier between me and my ability to exercise my Second Amendment. I think
Well, that puts a barrier for all the physical attributes you have to do in order to train, is what
It's
you're
just
getting at. No,
It's just like taking the MS.
no, because say you got a training course, right? And you're wanting somebody to do a training course. Well, say this next guy's in a wheelchair and he can't do that training course, but yet now he can't conceal and carry, and now you're taking his rights away from him. You can't do that.
That's almost as bad as a red flag law.
Yeah, you can't do that. So, no.
In retrospect, a lot of the courses that you go to, and there's a lot of states that have mandatory education as part of getting their concealed carry permit.
Yeah, Illinois.
States, the states that actually require that, a lot of times you're in a stationary position when you're actually doing the shooting qualification, meaning that it doesn't discriminate on those disabilities or anything like that, and it does give them the access to still receive it strictly based off of their performance.
China asked before I go in. Well, one thing, I got a Utah carry, and I'll never get an Illinois carry because, you know, they want to rob you and pull your pants down and do you some good. She asked about Good Samaritan law.
So I get this one quite a bit because we're talking about the legal obligation to stop something, right? If I defend myself and that person, after I had just stopped that threat, you know, do I have the legal obligation to try to save their life? In many situations, no. There are certain circumstances where you do have legal obligations for things like if you have certain certifications or something like that. But, you know, that person, if they robbed your house and they tried to kill you, do you have to save their life?
Ain't getting nothing from me.
They ain't getting nothing from me either.
But in that situation, if you defend yourself, you know, they say it's good to administer first aid in that situation, and you can't be held lawfully responsible in that situation because of Good Samaritan law. But if I'm in that situation, you know, my stance personally is I'm not tampering with evidence.
Oh, I'll administer first aid, all right.
Now, what is your stance on that, where you say it will pay off if you're lawfully, it was a good shoot? What if you emptied a cartridge in this guy? Are you gonna try to and I'm talking about you, but are you going to say he was overzealous or, because me, I got a 38, I'm going to empty the chamber on you until you're not moving. That's just, I'd rather be judged by 12 than carried by 6 here.
So yes and no. So yes, in the sense that I understand what you're trying to say and where you're trying to go with it. You are lawfully defending yourself at first, but say I shoot 4 rounds and that person drops and they're no longer a threat, and I go over and I use a 5th round in that situation, that's no longer lawful.
Cops do it all the time.
The law states that self-defense in itself is stopping a threat from its threatening behavior.
Yep.
So once that threatening behavior has stopped,
right,
that's where your use of force actually should stop as well.
Well, then my question goes, before I go back to BD, then we'll get into the round table. You'll have 5 or 6 cops on a guy and they all empty it out, but it's self-defense, but it don't, go over to us as well.
No. So police are actually held to an entirely different use of force law because they have legal obligations to do certain things. So in that situation, a police officer is held to a completely different set of laws than the average civilian is, because they are required to put themselves in harm's way. We are not.
So they can all 5 open up and empty their clips, but we can't empty ours.
I mean, in certain circumstances, they may be able to, right? And there's certain circumstances that we would be able to, but there's also, you see a lot of situations where police didn't act in coordinates with the law, and what happens? They lose their job and they end up in prison. So they may be held to a different standard of law, but that doesn't mean that they're still not held to a use of force law. Whereas when we talk about, unloading a magazine, that comes down to, well, is the threat stopping its threatening behavior? Because I've seen situations here in Philly where someone would be on PCP and get shot 17 times and still be moving forwards.
Well, I'm going to shoot you in the head, so keep moving then,
But that's where it comes down to. You need to understand your laws and when you're required to stop as well.
right.
Let's go around the table. J-Man, go for it.
Well, it's I don't carry my weapon out of the house because I don't feel I need to. So I've never needed my, concealed carry permit. But I have went out in the woods, with friends and went through some motions and, learned a few things, So that's why I feel if you want a concealed carry permit, you should have to take a course like that. Even if it's with paintballs, I'm sorry. I mean, you still should have to take a course like that where you know how to drop that threat and how, to do it lawfully, like you said.
Well, there goes how we won the West. Dark Soul. Your turn.
I'm a member with USCCA. I do concealed carry. And to the extent, why are a few states not being covered by USCCA? Prime example, New York is one of the baddest lawbreakers as far as gun, with the Second Amendment. They'll arrest you in a heartbeat, take everything from you and bend you over and shove it up your beep.
Oh, no swearing. No swearing on the show.
So the reason that certain states aren't now when they say that they aren't there, that doesn't mean if you go into New York and get put into a self-defense incident, it can't be a covered incident. That's not what that's saying. That's saying if you live in the state of New York, that you're not allowed to purchase a membership because their state's insurance commissioner does not allow this type of insurance to be sold in their state. Right.
Wow.
And a lot of that could be simply because, if they don't have a self-defense law whatsoever and the insurance benefit covers lawful active self-defense, they're claiming that, that can't be a product that has any relevance. And some of the situations are things like that, or, I know Washington had some hiccups where we're still trying to figure out exactly how to get back in. They wanted certain alterations made to the benefits before they would allow, and then there was a 7-year grace period before we could reapply.
Toby, if you're carrying that gun, you should know how to shoot people in the head.
Most people won't be able to get a headshot unless it's 10 yards or less. That's
when you kill somebody,
It's
you're going to be
easier
within
to say
10 yards.
They don't teach you headshots when you go for your training in CCW.
It's
Not in
easier.
Illinois.
Right. It's
actually-
easier said than
you
done.
actually-
They do chest shots.
Correct. You always aim for the center mass because it's the largest area of body, which makes it the easiest to hit, and it's where all of your vital organs are. So it naturally has more stopping power, because if you take vital organs out of the picture, your body quickly stops.
Yeah.
right.
So
Great
it
stuff.
incapacitates the
Yeah,
threat.
so we found out who our liberal is in the group, J-Man. And Hollywood, what's up with you having my state concealed carry permit? I thought you didn't like Utah.
You're good for some stuff other than having multiple women as wives, man. Other than that,
Yeah, I mean, I'm a concealed carry permit holder, and I'd like to know, like, that app, you talked about that app. I'd like to know more about it, because I go all over the place, different states around here, and I honestly don't know the law. I just carry anyway, to be quite honest.
Oh my God.
Well,
Dude.
that's not good.
Yeah,
So-
that's
So
crazy.
we need to get you squared away with the right way to do things.
Hey, I'm being real. It is
So
what
if
it is.
you-
And
if
hey,
you
a
don't-
lot of it is just, most of the time it's lack of knowledge, not having access to the right information to be able to handle ourselves in accordance. So
if you
the
don't-
one app that I had spoken about is called USCCA Reciprocity. If you search USCCA, there's going to be 3 different apps. There's Train USCCA, which is the Protector Academy app, where you can train on your phone based off of what membership you have. There is the regular USCCA app, where it handles all of your account information, all that. And in addition, you have the access to the Concealed Carry magazine located in there as well. And then there's a third app called USCCA Reciprocity.
Right.
That USCCA Reciprocity app is the one where you can take your individualized permit information, you plug it into your account, and it will show you a live map of where you can and can't carry, what states have restrictions, what those restrictions are, and where you absolutely cannot carry.
Okay,
You also have the ability to turn on location services, where it will ding your phone and say, you just crossed into Delaware from Pennsylvania. If it just gives you that message, it means that your permit is honored in that state, and you can lawfully still conceal carry based off of the permits that you possess, both resident and
That's
non-resident.
really cool.
And then if it's a state where you can't carry, it will say, hypothetically, you just crossed into Washington, D.C., and I can't carry there. So it would say, you just crossed into Washington, D.C. from Virginia.
Go home.
Your permit is not honored here. So I know, okay, now I need to look at the laws, which is a button right below. You click the state laws, you go to that specific state's laws, and when you look at that information, it will tell you, okay, here's the proper transportation laws for that individual state. Here's how you lawfully transport that firearm. So if you are pulled over, the police will not arrest you because you are transporting the firearm properly according to the state laws.
And BD, in my defense, gangsters and criminals don't give a shit about this law.
don't swear. I'll cut you.
So here's the deal.
Saying.
Here's the deal, Gray Star. Gangsters and criminals don't, but they're not the ones that get caught. They wasn't planning on getting caught in the first place. It's you. And if you don't have this app, they've got reciprocity map that you can just go. The NRA has one, and you go there, and it tells you where you can carry. It tells you where your license is good at, and it tells you the law. So, for instance, I like living in Georgia because you can just about travel the entire South, almost from coast to coast. But when you get pulled over in Texas, for instance, Texas has a law that requires you to say to the police officer, I have a concealed weapon permit and I have that weapon on me when he pulls you over. Georgia doesn't have that requirement.
Right.
So you've broken the law in Texas. If you get pulled over with you can carry there, but you got to let them know you got it. And Kansas has a complete, has something different. Oklahoma. So you got to know these laws because the penalties are crazy. So I can absolutely think.
BD, let me interrupt here before I go to Bedlam, and you know what I'm talking about here. Say a member of a motorcycle club has a CCW permit. He's all legal in the state of Texas. He's a member of USCCA, but because his motorcycle club is on the gang task force list, they arrest him for having a legal CCW permit. Did nothing wrong, but other than be a part of a motorcycle club, and I know that there's a lot of them watching and listening to us right now. What would you say to them? What would USCCA do for them?
So in that situation, it is tough because it's not a self-defense incident in that case, right? So the insurance limits would not necessarily apply. Now, there are some other funds and stuff that the USCCA has for one-off situations that could possibly apply, depending on circumstance and stuff. But I mean, realistically, in that situation, you're going to have an attorney knocking on your door that wants to represent you because they know that settlement that you're going to get from them wrongfully arresting you is going to be quite hefty. You're going to make off a little bit better than most in that situation.
Would USCCA as an organization at least file a brief or any of that on his behalf?
Not necessarily, but they, in that situation, if you call it in, they may be able to point you in a direction of the best attorney to handle that situation.
Like a referral. Right? A referral?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
A referral?
Yeah, basically. It's a tough situation because the insurance benefit states specifically self-defense incident, and wrongful arrest does not fall under that category.
Okay, Bedlam, go for it. Then we'll get the dragon.
You're muted. Drink. Oh, you're at work.
I'm not drinking. I'm at
Yeah,
work.
I know you're at work.
What I was going to say was, I got a carry as use ditch card, so, but anyway, my question is that, I know when on the bike, some bikes don't have bags, so forth. So the only place you can carry it is on your person. But if you got different states and different, laws, what are you going to do if you're crossing the state line? You can't put your, weapon away. That's the question. How are you going to transport it then?
In that situation, personally, what I would do is I would be using a lockbox similar to something like this that is TSA approved. It does not allow people to get into it from either side. I would lock my firearm in one of them, lock my ammunition in another one, and then keep my magazines completely unloaded, also in something like a backpack or some form of bag that is actually detachable from my body.
Well, see, that means you would have to carry all that in the backpack, and it'd still all be located in one area.
Correct.
And usually, like here in the state of Illinois, they want you to keep it separate. Correct. In two different areas.
They are deemed separate because they're in separate lockboxes.
No, wait a minute, criminal. Hold on, I gotta open this box to get my gun.
Yeah.
Give me just a few minutes. It does put you in a little bit of an inconvenience of having to carry the extra things. But your other option is what happens if you get pulled over and you go to jail and get an unlawful possession of a firearm or, something like that. It's better to be safe than sorry. And sometimes that little extra inconvenience of carrying those lock boxes or something, it can make a large difference in your everyday to day life and really being able to preserve your livelihood.
If a criminal is going to rob you.
I was just curious because, state of Illinois, here's state of Illinois, the rules are different. But as soon as I cross the state line into Missouri, boom, open carry.
Yep.
You don't need nothing. I can carry it on my hip. Nobody cares.
But here's the deal: all these statutes and codes are actually unconstitutional. They make it so hard for the ones that actually carry it to protect themselves. you got to have it in 3 different separate things. I mean, that's freaking BS. You know, you're getting fired up on everything. Oh, I got to get this. I got to get that. That's BS. You know.
We'll get into that for the second segment, guys. I want to be able to ask Chris stuff before we let him go. BD, you're up.
Yeah. So Chris, you got a lot of information, and you know, guys, I hear you guys moaning and complaining, but the bottom line is, if you don't want to take your behind to jail, you better know these laws and you better practice them. They're not going to hear any crying you have to, like, for instance, you take your gun, you're riding your motorcycle, you take your gun to California and you ride across the California state line and you put your weapon in one bag and lock it, and you put your ammunition and stuff in the other bag and lock it, but you've got a magazine that carries more than 10 bullets, bro, you going to prison. That's the bottom line. So you better know these laws. It ain't no game. So it ain't none of all this crying and none of this. If you're going to carry a gun, you better be responsible, because in America, in a lot of places where they don't like guns, they don't like gun owners, you're taking your freedom into your own hand. Chris, what I'd like to know from you is, this training that we get, this training is online. This is online training. And how can you possibly train intelligently online? And then I was looking at something else where it says you can go to, now that you've had your training, you can go to an actual, some of you guys certified or affiliated training ranges or training facilities. Does that cost money above the membership? So those are my 2 questions for you.
So, to your first question, all of the training is done online. And the reason that is so effective is because we start talking a little bit more about the mentality portion, right? To train your mental to be able to handle these situations doesn't require pressing a trigger, right? And a lot of the things that you learn are more of the understanding, the situational awarenesses, what to look for, what to be aware of in these situations. So it trains your brain to look at the world a different way, and it trains your mind to come all together with that physical realm, right? So it really is all encompassing. For instance, would I find benefit watching Tiger Woods swing a golf club? Absolutely, it would make me a better golfer in small facets. But I'm not going to be able to swing a golf club like Tiger Woods unless if I go and see a golf instructor that can work me through getting to that level, right? So there is that fine balance of understanding your why and being mentally prepared, but also understanding how to physically apply it and be able to physically do that. So when we talk about going to that instructor that you're mentioning, now USCCA does have plenty of instructors that are certified. And the reason for that is because the curriculum itself is phenomenal. Now, it is their own individual business that they are operating. Similar to like an NRA instructor can charge what they want for an NRA class. The instructor, it is still the instructor's time. And all they really are is certified in the discipline to really make sure that they can show them that the competencies. So it would be an extra charge to go and visit that instructor. But realistically, let's think about it. Are we going to regret any time, money, or effort that we put into being prepared for that worst day of our life if it saved our life?
Well, that was good stuff. I do want to get into a debate with the other guys. Before I let you go, Chris, how do you join USCCA?
Great question. So to join the USCCA, you're just going to go to the website. You're going to type in uscca.com/remote, REMOTE. And then it's going to bring you to a landing page that asks for a code. The specific code that you're going to type in is going to be Christopher P in all capital letters, CHRISTOPHER, and the letter P. You type that in. You join, it'll show you the 3 member levels, and you can click and read through the difference in member levels. And then you will actually receive if you join at Platinum or Elite, you will receive an additional free gift for joining at that level as well.
Or there are discounts.
Hold on, let me ask you this. Does joining at every level give you this insurance, or is this above and beyond?
Correct. So all 3 levels have the same exact insurance benefit. So whether you're at the $29 a month at Gold or whether you're at $49 a month at Elite, you still have the same coverage limits on insurance benefit. The only difference is the amount of training that you receive.
Rock
Do you get
on.
to a level where your training is where you've done all the training you need to do? I mean, is there some sort of certification? Are you able to become an instructor?
So you can always become an instructor. The certifications really, they help in a couple major categories. For instance, on my bag, you'll see that I have some certification patches saying that I've completed those certification levels. You're also going to get a sheet emailed to you saying, congratulations on completing this level. And the reason that training is so important is because if you're put into a self-defense incident, they have documented evidence of the training that you've completed that can be exported to the attorney. And when your attorney comes in and they're talking about whether they're going to press charges, and the attorney says, here's documented evidence of him doing all this training, do we think he handled it wrong? Oftentimes that takes the argument of your character off the table because you're prepared. You're going that extra mile to be that responsible American in training. So
Right.
it does yield a lot of benefit on the back end if you're ever put into an incident, because there's documentation that you have been training that show that you have a good character.
That's really cool. And finally, this wasn't made clear to me, and I'm sorry if you've already explained it, but this is not like prepaid legal. I mean, you guys are going to cover the legal fees, or am I going to have to pay above and extra for an attorney?
Correct. The fees are included in that. So you are a member. If you're put into a self-defense incident, you call the critical response team. They open the insurance claim on your behalf. Then from there, they get you in contact with the attorney. You are not paying for that attorney in that moment.
Okay.
So in that situation, say you're proven innocent, right? That cost of that attorney to defend that case, it's not coming out of your pocket. And if they sue you and say they settle for $1.9 million and you weren't convicted of a crime that's under that $2 million threshold, that's not coming out of your pocket either. So when you're saying prepaid legal, there are some companies out there that are prepaid legal and they pay for the attorney. That's completely different than what we do, because the USCCA actually has an insurance benefit. It's an insurance product that is associated with that membership.
So my thing is there a point that I might have to pay until I'm proven innocent and then I get my money refunded, or are you guys handling it from start to finish? Or
it's handled from start to finish. And in the case that you're found guilty of charges, the insurance company does have a recoupment clause where they have the ability to reclaim that money in the case that you are found guilty. That doesn't mean that they always will, but they have the ability to in that situation. So it is important to note that as well. And there's also, as part of that, there's $100,000 specifically allocated for bail, which means that if your bail set at $1 million, 10% of that is going to be $100,000, and that would be covered, also included in that membership.
Wow, that's cool.
So not just the attorney, not just the damages, but there's also that ability for your bail, and there's also $10,000 available for incidentals. So something like if they confiscate your firearm following that and you can't get your firearm back, you can be reimbursed the MSRP of that firearm because you can't get it back.
Rock on.
Okay,
well,
one more thing. You're forgetting one more thing,
guys, because we're going to be going into the debate section.
They also get $750, up to $750 per day for actual loss of income.
Correct.
On top of that.
And that per day up to is whatever you're actually making. It doesn't automatically go to $750. It's based off of your actual income.
Yeah.
Oh, gee, I thought I was going to get the whole $750.
Well, there you go, Chris. We appreciate having you on the show. If we'll have more information for you guys that are interested in joining USCCA. Really appreciate you coming on and giving us your tips, man.
Absolutely. In addition to that, if there's anybody out there who has additional questions that they may want to ask that is on this stream, you can always actually give me a call as well. My cell phone number is 484-832-0031. You can give me a call and I'll answer any questions you may have in addition to that as well and help you through the process if you need help.
Cool.
Rock on, man. All right, Chris, well, we'll see you later, man. We're going to get into the debate section. We're running a little late here, so we appreciate having you on, man. It was
Thank you
rock.
so much. I appreciate it.
Thanks for being here.
Thanks, Chris.
Thank you, Chris.
Enjoy the rest of your evening.
Yep, you
I'll be
do.
with you later, Chris.
Okay, I'm going to get some debate going, and I'm going to play a little devil's advocate here, and we're going to go around on the round table and talk about it. So I'm going to put the subject out there. Personally, I think it's a good thing if you're really interested in that type of stuff. I think it's a prepaid legal type of deal, and that usually don't work out that well. Maybe you guys that are members, could explain more. Personally, though, I think what's going on in this country, we're so divided, and gun rights is always a hot button issue, that there's always people out there that try to, get a payday off of that stuff.
Well,
So-
I'm confused because I asked him if I went to jail, and he said that I had to pay for my attorney, and then he's telling again.
No, J-Man. Wait.
Hold
Yeah,
on.
you heard that.
We're going to go around the table, man. We're not going to walk all over. Go ahead.
Yeah, okay. Now he told me that I had to get my own attorney or a public defender.
He said
Yes.
That's what he told me.
I think he
And
said
then he
you
said, then he tells BD that they'll
Only
pay
if
for the
you're
attorney.
guilty, man. If you're
But he
guilty of
told-
wrongdoing and not self-defense, they cut you off. Up until then, they'll cover you.
Okay.
Dark Soul, your thoughts?
It is. You saying it's a prepaid legal is not. It's a lot more to it than that. I mean, you get your education. I've already taken 2 of their courses. I've been having I signed up back in December. I've been looking at it for a long time, doing a lot of my homework. There's 4 other companies out there that offer this kind of stuff, and they seem very legit. And through other people I know that have had it, they're a really good company and representative. Their legal is top notch, and you pay for what you get. To what you were saying, J-Man, if you're found guilty, and that's where it gets cut off. Then you're going to be handed a public defender to go forward.
Yep.
Okay. In the meantime, all the way up till the investigation, they're with you 100%.
I took it that you had to pay for your own attorney.
No,
that's
that's
what
all
I-
paid
what
for.
he said.
Yeah, if you go to the website, to their website, and it breaks it down for you what's actually covered or not. I mean, they even go further to having the red flag laws. If you get in a red flag law situation, you're covered. And the way this, got to watch what I say because we might be listening to. They come knocking on your door and trying to take your stuff for no apparent reason because your neighbor don't like you. They're there to protect you. You know what I'm saying? And
Go ahead.
and the benefits of it and everything to make sure my family's taken care of while I'm sitting in that freaking cell waiting to be arraigned and all that mess. That extra $700 up to $750 a day to cover, along with my attorney fees and stuff. I'm gonna tell you now, I can't afford an attorney right now. I mean, I'm pretty well versed. I'm
That's
pretty
what I
well
was
versed in the
saying.
laws
That's
now.
exactly what I was saying. I can't afford attorney.
I'm pretty well versed with the laws now, and the only way is actually getting into the books and actually studying stuff. You're not taught this in school. They want you coming out blind as a bat at school and not knowing everything. They don't teach you law. They don't teach you. They bare minimum stuff to get you by.
J-Man, you don't carry outside the house anyway, so you're just gonna get robbed. It doesn't matter.
You're not going to rob me. I'm going to take your gun and shoot you with it.
Uh,
You're not going to rob me.
Let's get going on, Gray Star. One thing that confused the hell out of me. was they do offer educational courses, but they're online. Now, I already know that won't meet Illinois standards and a lot of other training standards. So, would it be the insurance that you were going for if you would join, or what else would you go for with a program like this?
The only thing I would do with this program is the insurance. As far as training is concerned, I would search locally for a provider in Utah, in my state,
A good
to actually
gun
do a
range.
physical training. That's
Your
my
thought-
personal opinion, anyway.
Your thoughts, Bedlam? Because you're
I
Illinois,
think-
so you know how we are here.
Yeah, I looked in all the CCW and law. It's basically, I have weapons, period. And it's the purchaser of the weapons responsibility, period, to get their training, to get anything they need as regards to following the laws of their state, period. But if they want to play outlaw, that's their final choice. Let's just leave it at that in my case.
Right.
Right.
Because I'm jumping from state to state, all the time. And I do not pay attention to everybody's laws because
I don't pay attention.
I was born in the US of A and plan on being born in the US of A and do my own thing. And what others don't know won't kill me.
Black Dragon, you seemed real interested in the program. What caught your eye on it?
I've been looking at it for a while, and it comes across my feed. And you guys know I'm a prepper, and I have my channel Think Tactical, and my podcast Think Tactical, and my website thinktacticalnews.com. I haven't been posting on it lately, but Hollywood and I have been talking here, and I'm getting ready to start posting on Think Tactical again. And I've been thinking about this because, like I said, I've known 4 guys that I am personally acquainted with, and each one of them had to kill somebody. And each person had a legal kill that was eventually adjudicated as a good shoot. And each one of those persons lost a great deal of money, a great deal of time, and they were afraid the entire time that they were going to prison. Even a friend of mine who stopped a murder, the woman was stabbed 30 or 40 damn times. The man attacked her twice. Her ex-husband attacked her, stabbed her up 15, 20 times. He, being a wrestling coach, attacked the man, pulled the man off the woman. He was covered in her blood. The man jumps up off of her, runs out the back door. He goes to his car to get his gun. He wasn't carrying his gun. He comes back to the store. The man has just run out of the front door and then came all the way around and came through the back door. And now he's on top. When he gets back into the place, the fool's stabbing her again. So he pulls his gun, tells the guy to cease and desist. And the guy now decides to charge him with a knife in his hand. So he took the guy out. Now the guy's a black guy. He's a white guy. And so he's got a whole bunch of issues he's facing. Is this racial? Is this this? Is this that? Or whatever the case may be. And this is what you would think would be clear cut. And he almost went to prison. The district attorney's looking at him all salty and looking at him all sideways. And you talk about several things: money lost for while you're off your job. A lot of people are living paycheck to paycheck, 3 or 4 days or a week off a job, let alone a month or two, and that's enough to sink some people. So I'm looking at it and I'm saying this might be an interesting program for $29 to $49 a month. What all does it give? And so there'd be a lot of negative things to say about the training. Well, they can't train you personally, blah, blah, blah. But most of you guys don't even train any kind of way. So some training off the internet will at least put your mind in the right place. I mean, most guys do not train withdrawing. They do not train multiple situations. They don't even think about stuff like, if I jump behind a door like they do on television, that door really is not going to protect me. And so just them putting you in the right mindset, even if it is training online, will prepare you better than most people who get their gun, get their piece. They got all these guns on them. And man, let me tell you, I just saw a video the other day. Some Mexican drug cartel dudes came after some other Mexican drug cartel dudes. And the other dudes were partying and drunk, and every one of them had a gun. And they got so murdered. It was ridiculous. And they even pulled their guns out and shot. That listen, if your mind's not in the game, it doesn't even matter if you got your gun or not. They got wasted. The opposing force didn't lose not one guy.
It doesn't matter if you're trained either.
That's another reason I don't carry when I'm out riding and things like that, because I don't know if I'm going to get drunk or if I'm going to get high or if I'm going to get this or if I'm going to get that. So, I don't want to be put in that situation.
Well, let's go around the round table again. Let's talk about, see, I kind of lost faith in a lot of this type of stuff after Kyle Rittenhouse, because it seems like it depends. Well, if you were in Chicago, your ass is going to jail. It's just the way it is. When you're in these different type of states, and because our Congress, they did have a chance to pass this stuff when the Republicans held the House, Senate, and the presidency, but they don't want it. So,
well, how do you lose faith because of Kyle Rittenhouse?
He won.
Yeah,
I did, but the things he went through and how it was prosecuted.
He's supposed to go through those things.
No, he's not.
You're supposed to be looked at with John Desai. We can't just open and shut the case. Okay, you're good.
Definitely not. Yeah, I mean, he should have went to jail at first.
Why?
Because
you gotta take the
he shot somebody until it's investigated. Until it's investigated. And
well, first is supposed to come the investigation, then you go to jail. They didn't investigate nothing because it was a riot, and he was a white kid with an AR-15 that started shooting up.
And they didn't was all over.
I don't think that
they didn't do no investigation.
Even a black kid with an AR-15, he'd have got the same crap, probably worse.
Or a woman.
And Black Dragon, honestly, he probably wouldn't have. He'd probably found guilty. Just saying. Unfortunately,
they find black kids with AR-15s guilty every single day.
Right.
So, is it a racial issue in the United States when it comes
depends
to
on what you do? I mean, clearly with the video with Kyle Rittenhouse, it was self-defense. But
and if they did that investigation instead of
what Kyle Rittenhouse went through, was absolutely self-defense. The question that I think a lot of people asked is, can you start some stuff and then you started it and now you're claiming self-defense? That was really
no.
And well, in the case of George Zimmerman, and wasn't that his name?
Yeah.
Zimmerman, he was able to start some mess, start getting his butt kicked, kill the person, and the jury said, yeah, you can start it and you can claim self-defense. That's what the jury said. But and so Kyle Rittenhouse went through the same thing. Can you show up in a city that you don't live in?
His dad did. Don't even start passing them rumors, man. His dad did. His
dad
mom
he lived in a different city. He lived with his mom. That's where his custody was.
Yeah.
And he worked in Kenosha. Again. Let's say that.
All right.
The biggest thing about
news people.
Can you go to the city? Can you go to a city where and then go so-called protect some stuff that ain't yours?
You ain't got no business being there. Sorry.
Okay. And that's what it came down to.
It's the case. And
okay, no. I got something to say in regards to this right here.
Hey, Bedlam, do you need us to come protect your business?
No. This comes down to protecting my neighbor. Same thing as a business.
Neighbor. My neighbor, yes, I will protect.
Same thing as a business. If there's a business next door to my house.
He didn't live there, Bedlam.
It was his grandpa's business.
Huh?
I never
It
heard
goes
this
down to the same
grandpa's
scenario:
business.
house or business, neighbor or business. If I got a business and I know the guy and he's living I live next door to it. You think I ain't gonna help that guy?
I'm
Being an
protecting.
American, a true
Hell yeah.
American.
There's that good Samaritan crap.
No, well, actually, but
Because
we had Antifa being flown in. They were
that's
professional
the
rioters. Go
well,
ahead,
see,
Beto.
that's the thing. That's the thing. If I got a neighbor, I treat my neighbors well, all right, and help them as much as I can.
You
And
don't
hell,
want
I
to
had
do
a vet
cops.
that died. I had a vet that died 2 years ago because somebody killed him in his house right across the street from me. Okay? Gunfire, everything. So if I would have known that and been home, I would have ran over there and helped protected him. Period.
Wow, I shouldn't have got on Kyle Rittenhouse, but
So I'm going to tell you what. When it comes down to neighboring businesses, I'll protect my fellow man's shit. Period.
Hell
I don't
yeah.
care.
Totally agree.
we'll get to your response in a minute, Black Dragon. I got to get Dark Soul in here. We debate on independent riders, Black Dragon.
Yeah, you can't. Never mind.
Hey, liberals just need to be quiet, J-Man.
Take your paintball gun and go somewhere, buddy. Take your paintball gun and go somewhere.
You bring
Hey,
the
man.
paintball gun to the fight.
Hey man, go puff a little bit. Go puff on your little pipe there for a little bit.
As soon as we're finished.
Let's grown men do what we need to do. Shaggy, you're correct on what you pointed out. Someone who has it and just are afraid to pull it won't end up doing it. But in all reality, if you're going to pull it, you better pull that trigger. Let's put it.
I'm pulling it, and you ain't getting up after I pull.
Yeah.
I'm 100% behind that
I'm gonna
too.
put it this
If
way.
I'm going to use it, it's going to be used, and it's the end of it.
Now here's another thing. I'd rather have it and not use it, and not have it and be left out in the blank.
Rather have it, not need it. Than
Well,
need
I
it,
want to
not have it.
give Black Dragon the opportunity to rebut whatever he wants to rebut because this is a debate. Go ahead, BD.
So, there are elements of what Kyle Rittenhouse did that at some point he got to a point where he had to damn defend himself. And I don't care what you say. At some point, people hitting you with skateboards and trying to jump on you, and another guy pulled a gun out. Those are all people that probably needed to go away, and a couple of them did.
That's what you call the force continuum. The threat force continuum. I totally agree with it. If he's getting attacked by something, he's got full right to shoot. Period.
So at that point, it doesn't matter whether I was right or whether I was wrong. At that point, I got boogeymen trying to. You don't get to disarm me. Cut that out. Stop it. You don't get to take my gun. You don't get to hit me in the head with a skateboard. You don't get to jump in the air at me and kick at me, and you don't get to pull a gun on me. These are things I like John Wayne and the Shootist. These are things I don't do to others, and these are things that I won't allow others to do to me. I completely agree with that.
Black
Now,
Dragon, can
yes,
I
sir.
ask you a question, sir?
You
are trained in martial arts, are you not?
I am.
Therefore, wouldn't you be considered a weapon as it is?
Yeah, but I'm an old weapon, man. These knees.
Come on, man. You're good for 4 more. Come on.
I'm an outdated weapon. They're going to retire me with the howitzer. The howitzer's a weapon too. Do they use it anymore? Hell no. So
I'm just saying, like the one you were talking about where the guy was stabbing his wife 20 times. If dude was trained in martial arts, he wouldn't have had to go out there and get his gun.
He was a wrestling coach, so he was trained in martial arts. Wrestling is martial arts. But man, he had sense enough to know the first time I wrestled that guy off his wife and I was all slippery with her blood and I was able to get him off, that was lucky. You don't see cops. Cops get trained too. They get trained in nightsticks and billy club,
right.
but they're not fixing to pull their billy club out and go after your butt.
Yeah,
they're going to use their weapon. Now,
right. He might have got stabbed too. You're right.
Now, Jammin, I love you, buddy, but
J-Man.
I always call him Jammin. J-Man, I love you. You follow my show. I absolutely love you. But I have to disagree with some of this. I don't agree that you should have to in Georgia, you could be mentally challenged or whatever the case may be. They're giving you a gun. This is a shall issue state, and you have the right to carry a weapon. And you ain't got to take no courses or none of that. You have a right to carry, and as long as you haven't beaten your wife, broken the law, you're not a felon, you get a weapon issue. You get a license. All you got to do is take your $45, and I think that should be illegal. But you just take your $45, $50 down there, get your fingerprints taken, and then you give them another. It comes out to about $100 all total, and now you got your weapon. I think that is too much. I think there are some people that don't have $100, but
Well,
we don't have
let me ask you this, BD. You're in Georgia, and I'll go around the table on this question. Do you think there's a disconnect between rural and urban way of thinking about gun rights?
Well, there certainly is here in Georgia, because if you live rural Georgia, you get your concealed carry permit like 3 or 4 days after you apply for it. And if you are in Atlanta, Georgia, or anywhere around here, the folks here are anti-gun. So it takes you about 4 or 5 months to get your permit, versus a guy that lives out in rural Georgia who goes in there and damn near gets his permit in the same day. So, yeah.
Well,
We got China now joining
here in
us.
Ohio.
Hi, China.
Here in
Careful,
Ohio,
she might be still carrying.
Black Dragon.
Yes,
What
sir.
is the name of that town in Georgia that is required for you to
Kennesaw.
carry a hat? Kennesaw.
That's
And
Kennesaw,
what is the
Georgia.
crime level there?
I don't know.
0.
Well,
0.
I
Go
think
look
crime
it up.
level would be down everywhere if everybody could just carry it right on their side.
And
Well,
Dave
yeah.
Spot is from my home state of Oklahoma. Here in Oklahoma, we have constitutional carry, but no permit required. But
We have
you know,
open carry here in Cincinnati and Ohio. You're allowed to carry it openly.
That goes back. I'm in Pennsylvania. You got to go pay, like you're saying, Black Dragon. You got to go pay your little fee and stuff to get permission. You're converting
I
the
love
right to
Pennsylvania. Once you got that Pennsylvania card, you can carry almost anywhere in the United States of America.
Yeah.
In Utah, all you have to do is go buy the gun, and you can carry it. You don't have to pay for nothing. Don't need fingerprints or nothing. But as soon as you want to get your concealed carry permit, then you're talking the fingerprints and the money and all that.
Right. That's the way it is in Ohio here. Yeah.
Well, I was getting at
If-
Mulberry versus
Can
Pennsylvania.
I mean, guys, can I say something real quick here? Okay.
Sure. Go ahead.
It's funny is that everybody says, oh, I got to pay this. I got to pay that. I got to do this. I got to do that.
You don't have to do it.
What does this mean?
What does that mean?
What I'm getting at is you're asking somebody permission to do something that you can legally do without
Yeah.
getting it.
No,
No,
what you're
that's
paying
the
for,
judge.
what you're paying for, man. What you're paying for is the paperwork.
I'm not paying anything. I go buy my firearms, period. Done.
Okay, you don't have a concealed carry permit.
Well, I want to get is Tia
If
there?
you're wanting, it's what the problem here is, the more people that know what you're doing is what makes it illegal. Okay? That's like Brock Dragon just said. He has channels about his prepperness or what have you, right? Now, if I'm prepping in my house, do you think I'm going to tell everybody I'm doing it?
Hell no.
No.
Hey guys, I
You
want to
get where I'm
get
going.
right. I'm going to get the girls' opinions on this. China Doll happens to be afraid of having guns around.
Since when do you want their opinion?
Because women, let's get Tia in here, BD.
I have a FOID card.
Yeah, you got a FOID card.
A what card?
FOID.
Void card.
You have to have a FOID card here in Illinois. Firearms
Yeah,
owner
Just
identification.
own a firearm.
Do
Okay,
they actually
China
let you
Doll.
guys have guns there? I heard that you couldn't even have a gun anywhere in the whole damn state.
Yeah, you can have a gun. We do.
China
You just
Doll.
gotta have
But
a
you
Utah
can't carry them
carry
anywhere,
permit.
can you?
So for somebody like China Doll, I think I scared her because the first gun I let her shoot of mine
was a 357 Magnum, and it shot me on my booty.
I let her shoot a 357 long barrel Magnum.
Yeah.
No more. No
Yeah,
more. I
that's the
won't.
way to introduce the girl. Put a cannon in her hand.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. Give
Hey,
it
Not
a
Dirty Harry, man.
Hollywood.
What's
Way
up?
to go.
Well, I tell you what, that Hollywood.
Yeah.
how do you feel about concealed carry?
How do I personally feel about it? Well, I can use examples like the gas station. I mean, personally speaking, it would freak me out. I mean, I don't, I mean, y'all got the right to do what you got to do, but working at a gas station, we got enough issues at a gas station. Like
I've been there, China. I've been
they
there.
expect us to chase people that drive off with gas, and I'm sorry because I don't know what the heck they have on them, so I don't agree with that. But I mean, to each their own. I mean,
How
I
do you get to
personally
drive off with gas? Don't you have to prepay?
not at ours.
Well,
A lot
yeah,
of gas
here
stations in Illinois, you do not have to prepay for it. You
you
just
don't have
can
to prepay
flip
here either.
the thing and
Wow.
pump the gas,
Man.
and they can just take off, which they do.
The
They-
That's
police
not
and
where
brother
it come
men.
from.
And they want us to chase the people that are driving off, and I'm like, there's no way I'm chasing these people. You don't know what they got on them.
So you wouldn't be
I'm not a fan.
more secure if you had a gun underneath
No.
the register.
Let's just say
No.
she does have a gun under the register, okay?
If I did have one under the register, then they wouldn't let me use it.
How about Tia Black Dragon? How
Yeah,
she feel about
she's trying to get herself together. Tia has her concealed carry.
There
I
you
went and
go.
got that for her.
Well, yeah,
I
it
think-
only cost $100.
What do you mean only?
You in the wrong state, man.
It was. I think it's like $25 for the fingerprints, and then there's a certain amount if you want a 2-year license, and if you want a 5-year license, it's like $75. Some mess, and
Right.
it's I think it's like $100 or something if I remember correctly. And I had to, but Tia's got hers. I got it for her. And then, oh my, you should see the beautiful gun I bought her with my friend's a gunsmith. So it's got these ports on it, and it's got powder coat red on it, and it's got her name, Red Bone, on it, and it's just sexy and beautiful. And
Has she shot it?
it looks, oh yeah, it looks way better than my raggedy ass guns. Her gun looks like something out of the 25th century. And and then I got her all of her stuff to carry it, various carrying things like the one that wraps around your waist, and then I got her the one you can jog with the little bag thing. What do you call those things? Those things that wrap around your waist, a fanny pack.
Fanny
Fanny
pack?
pack.
Got her the fanny pack.
Shaggy said
All
if
that
more people carried, the crime would go down like they proved in Texas.
Well, see, that's what I was saying. Like you told me about being out in the West. If everybody had a gun on their hip, do you think there would be as much crime? There may be more. There may be more at the beginning, but in 2 or 3 years, people will stop shooting each other.
Let's go around the table on that one. Dark Soul, you're first.
Look back in the early 80s and stuff, man. You had pickups with racks in the back with the rifle and shotgun hanging back there. You don't even see that. Well, you got to go further south down to see it. But Shaggy, you're correct on a lot of stuff. And the little remarks between you and Black Dragon, I get a kick out of y'all's little ramble about the submarine stuff. Y'all make me laugh every time. But yeah, back in the day, you used to be able to have your pickup truck with hanging right there on the back and stuff, because as soon as you got out of school, you know exactly where you was going.
At high school, I want to reiterate that we drove that stuff to high school. We had our gun in the racks in high school at Classen High School in Oklahoma City off of Northwest 16th Street. You would see the trucks pulled in and the guns in the racks in the pickup trucks, bro, and it wasn't not a problem.
You didn't go play video games. You went right after school to go hunting.
Truck with a gun in it to school today. Woo!
What's your thoughts on that, Graystar?
Well, my thoughts is I grew up in Oakland, and I'm sorry, BD, I'm not putting the gun in my in one part of the car, and then in the trunk have the bullet. No, that ain't happening. Sorry, it's just not.
So
I'm loaded. I'm 30 clipped up, and I'm ready to go. And I'd rather be that way than be dead.
Let me share this story real quick.
It's story time with BD. You're after this one, Bedlam.
My first time to the East Bay Dragons Motorcycle Club, a storied motorcycle club in Oakland. My first time to the East Bay Dragons, I forget the street, like 100 and something street. I forget the name of the street.
East 14th.
East 14th Street. That's right. Sure. And they're right on the corner. So I'm riding my motorcycle down this street, and you are absolutely in the hood here. Yep. So I'm riding, I'm checking out everything, and these guys come pulling past, sitting outside of the on the windowsills with these like AR-15s, sitting on the windowsills, like shooting out and getting ready to shoot out, and they are being chased by 4 or 5 police cars that are trying to corner them off. And these guys are sitting up there like, man, if you try to pull us over, we're going to kill you. And all these cop cars are trying to converge on them, and they're rolling up and down the road at like just 50, 60, 70 miles an hour. And that's not the part that scared me about Oakland. What scared me about Oakland is as this was going on, the people that were walking up and down the street were walking up and down the street like nothing was going on.
It's an everyday thing, man.
Oh, these guys are getting ready to shoot up the neighborhood, and that I was like, whoa, I'm in a tough town. So
your thoughts, Bedlam? Then I got a good one. We'll probably jump all over J-Man about. But
I say, yeah. If I mean, you could put a lot of guns out there in everybody's hands, but I say, if it comes down to background checks that are done real well on people, because if they've been like institutionalized, don't give them a damn gun, or if they got some kind of mental aspect, don't give them a gun. But yeah, it can be like the West. I mean, some places over in the West, I know over by Graystar, there's still old cowboys out there that carry.
Yep.
And still ride horseback. Open carry, ride horseback, and still go to the bar with their side piece on.
Yep.
So that's about all I got for that. I still believe everybody should carry. It could kill and drop the crime rate, but you're still going to have nutty folks wanting to, if they get a hold of one, popping them off, just like BD said.
Now, J-Man, you seem like the more liberal of all of us. You're a loony leftist in sheep clothing, it sounds like.
That's why he's wearing sunglasses.
I have light sensitivity.
Do you agree with some laws that over 10 bullets in a cartridge is overkill?
Well, no, you can never have too many bullets.
So you don't agree with that law in California where
you should be allowed to have as much ammunition on you that you want to carry.
Oh, I got my Miss Tia in here. I got Miss Tia.
Hey, good taste there, BD.
Say what?
Good taste there, my friend.
Hey, BD, move over a little bit, will you?
I'm moving over. Damn.
Keep on moving. Keep on moving, BD.
All over your microphone.
Okay, my microphone's being cleaned now.
That's a good woman there. She'll clean your microphone.
There was an incident in California that there was a couple guys in body armor. It was all over the TV as it was happening.
I remember that. That was a bank robbery.
With the AK
get it? You can't.
47s.
I'll
Can you hear?
How would that Dark Soul affect a normal citizen just having 10 rounds if they were confronted with something like that?
I remember that. I mean, believe it or not, I remember that case when it all unfolded. I mean, I was young, and them three guys all suited up and stuff. I mean, the police didn't have nothing to touch them and stuff, and they was going into the stores getting more high power rifles to penetrate their armor and stuff. I remember that real well. And the effect of it, as where came all the regulations there in California, is when I think it really started buckling down on where it came from with all these laws. To what Shaggy was saying earlier, I agree with you. The Second Amendment should say we should be able to carry, period. That was where Mulberry versus Pennsylvania, as a Supreme Court case here in Pennsylvania. You should not be converting a liberty and a right into a privilege, and they still do it every day. So,
now, Bedlam, and I'm gonna get Tia into this too in a second. Dark Soul just said that we have a right to the Second Amendment, but in the 1980s they passed a law where you can't have fully automatic machine guns. Is that against the Second Amendment?
Yes, absolutely, it is.
Well, that's why they invented bump stocks.
Yeah, I think they passed that long before 1980. Didn't they pass that after?
No, that was from Reagan.
I thought they passed that after the G-Men stuff.
No, that was Reagan.
Okay, so, but yeah, it's against the law because during the time that we had guns and the Second Amendment was created, there weren't machine guns, but these guys were using the baddest guns available, which was the musket that you, and if you were a hardcore cat with it, you could reload that thing in about 13 seconds. So, you know, compare that to arrows. You're dropping a musket ball every 13 seconds. If you got 3 or 4 guns, you know, you're a bad booger. So that was the machine gun of the day, and I think that you should be able to have machine guns, and you can have a machine gun if you want to pay for the license. So, you know, if you got money, you can have a machine gun, and I think that's foul.
That's our
What
country
about
in
you,
a nutshell.
well, hold up.
I don't understand. What do you mean pay for a license for a machine gun?
Yeah, if you're ready to buy the license, you can have a machine gun. I think
You trying to say so? I have to buy. I have never heard of that. I mean, I know you can buy parts and build your own AR-15. I have never. I'm assuming you could probably do the same for a machine gun,
No,
and not get a license.
Own a machine gun in the United States if you buy the machine gun owner's license. I don't know what it's called, an FFL or some number.
Yeah, FLL Class 4.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, I've never heard of that.
Go ahead, Dark Soul. You seem to know this subject.
Yeah, for you to own a machine gun, a fully automated machine gun, and everything, you have to have passed through several level of clearance. Have to have an FLA Class 4 to even do it, and you're even very strict on what you can do. There's a place here in Pennsylvania. It's called Washington, Pennsylvania Gun Range, and you're able to go there. I think there's a couple other states that have it. You're able to go there and on their fire range and unload. And you pay for everything. Don't get me wrong; it's not cheap. But if you want to shoot a fully automatic 50 cal, let it rip. You know, they got tannerite there and so forth like that. So
That's
I mean,
the American way. You got money, you can do pretty much whatever you want.
But I wanted to bring something up. I mean, you mentioned about machine guns and everything. You know, the Gatling gun. You know, back in the day with the crank, that was the very first machine gun, repetitive arm machine gun back there, and that was what in the 1600s.
I have a different definition of crank. I'm an old school biker.
So I mean, you know, machine guns were around very in the early days and stuff. I mean, all the way back from the Civil War that they had them. You know, and I'm just a history buff on something like that. Yeah, the puckle gun. Yeah, you're right, dirtbag. The puckle gun. Thank you. Yeah, the buckle gun was the very first machine gun that came out, and and then the Gatling gun was after that, the repeater, and you guys saw that through history. You see the guns that you evolve through time, through the years. You had your what the Navy was the big old huge oh man, I'm going blank now. Oh my goodness, the big black powder with the big end on it and everything. It basically is almost like the big shotgun, back in the day. You loaded anything and everything you could to get into it and freaking fired it off when you went to go cross over to another ship.
The black powder one, right?
Yeah.
China Doll has a question.
Go ahead, China Doll.
All right, here's my question. Everybody's spending all this money for FOID cards and concealed carry cards and all these insurances and all this. Well, what about all those people that aren't spending any money and they still carry?
That's my point. That is exactly my point.
Thank
you.
Don't get me wrong. I spent my $100. I got my FOID card, but
I got my FOID card just to get my pistol, my weapons and so forth. Don't buy nothing else.
Thank you, Frank, of the blunderbuss. Thank you, Frank, for getting it out there.
There's all these people throughout the United States that ain't wasting their money on this, and they're just gonna carry anyway.
Look at Chicago.
I mean, hell, we're right by Rockford. They carry. They don't have no damn permits.
Well, I want to get Tia in here. And
you all talk about Chicago. Bring your asses down here to East St. Louis. Come on.
St. Louis ain't nothing compared to the Shy.
No. I hear gunshots constantly at my house, man, all the time. It's just as bad.
Hey, Bedlam, I live 16 miles out of Cincinnati and hear gunshots by my house all the time, so that ain't shit.
So, Tia, tell us about what got you. Hold on, guys. Tia, tell us what got you in the weapons.
Hey, everybody.
Hi, Tia.
What's the question again, brother?
What got you into weapons? What got you into wanting to get a concealed carry? And what is your preferred handgun?
Point at him.
Yeah. He made me do it.
I grew up scared of guns because I lost so many people I love to gun violence. So I was just always like, no. But when I moved to Atlanta, I got into law enforcement. So I was forced to carry, forced to go to the shooting range, forced to learn about guns and different things. But he is actually the one that bought me my first gun. And I like his AK. When I went to the range and I shot it, I was just like, oh my gosh, this is so fun.
But now, Tia, do you carry yours?
Huh?
Do you carry yours?
I carry 45.
No, but I'm saying, do you carry it with you all the time?
I have it with me. Sometimes I'll leave it in my car. He's bought me things that allows me to have it on me, but I'm scared. I'm not really a violent person, and I don't ever want to take a life, but I definitely want to be in a position where I can protect myself if it need be.
Tia, I'm a strong believer in it's better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it.
I agree. Absolutely.
I'm even a stronger thing about if you have it, carry it.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yep.
I'll agree with that.
Toby, you're correct. A lot of people don't know because they're not being educated. I mean, you remember back in our day growing up, you were taught in school. You had a course on firearms. I was freaking 13 years old, and I had to go through firearm class in middle school.
Wow.
Where I'm from, we learned on the streets, man. That wasn't taught in school.
Yeah.
So, Tia, how did your experience you talked about Chicago. What made you afraid I already know the answer, but the rest don't. What made you afraid of the gun until you got around Black Dragon? Was it he taught you the proper way of using one, or he taught you how to better handle yourself? How did you get over that hump?
All of the above. I think he actually took the time with me to show me, um, and then of course I learned on the job. But um, absolutely, he took the time and he explained to me. I saw videos of people in situations where they should have had a gun, and all you have to do is watch the news, and if that doesn't convince you, sometimes. My daughter is a single mom. She lives alone, and I'm actually trying to encourage her to get a weapon. And she's sort of like me. She's, no, ma, I don't want to kill anybody. But I'm like, it's you by yourself and your babies. And in Georgia, you have the right to protect yourself and your family. And it's not that you have to use it, but just like the gentleman said, it's better to have and not need it than need and not have it. So, now that I have it, I do see where I need it. Like I saw not too long ago in Atlanta, there was a woman jogging in the park with her dog, and she got killed. I don't know if you guys saw that on the news.
Yeah.
And it was just like, wow, why would you jog through a park? You got your dog, but they may have killed the dog first and then kill her or whatever.
And what a lot of people don't know about dogs is the dog normally takes on the characteristics of its owner. So if you're a wimp, you'll have a wimp dog. And so folks that aren't afraid of dogs, look at your Labrador Retriever and wasn't afraid of it. I wish they'd try to get this Belgian Malinois over here.
I'll be down there to meet him. I'll come down there to meet him.
Yeah, come on.
Come on. You said you were in law.
He bit 6 people the first 3 weeks we had him.
He's bit me before. I'm telling you, I saw stars. I was just like, oh my God, I could not believe this dog bit me.
I had a club brother that I got in an argument with, and he tore his behind up. So yeah, we
bring in a couple raw steaks, you'll be fine. You get right past that damn dog a bit.
If you bring me a couple raw steaks, yeah.
You bring him raw steaks, he'll put the dog outside.
I'm going to get us back on track here. Tia, you said you were in law enforcement. What standards did they hold you to that a regular citizen was, ain't held to as far as using a firearm?
Okay, so they have to make sure you are mentally equipped to have that responsibility of carrying, because a lot of people, believe it or not, just because you're in law enforcement, a lot of people, you see it all the time on the news. They reach for their gun first, not even thinking like, okay, this is a life sometimes. So, you have a lot of power and they expect for you to think right and act right. So yeah, they definitely hold you accountable for it. You have to go through special training and watch videos, endless videos, because they're trying to make sure you're mentally, emotionally equipped to carry that firearm. It's a very powerful tool.
Well, Tia, isn't it a lot of muscle memory? Did they teach you how to draw your weapon? Has Black Dragon taught you that too, either?
Both. And I think you never stop learning. I think you can go through so much training, but when it actually comes down to you actually having to use that gun, sometimes all of that goes away. It's just
that's what I mean, muscle memory. You've done it so much, it's force of habit. It's in there,
Yeah, but these times we're living in, I would encourage all women. I do, like, especially a lot of my friends or whatever. I kind of convince them to go get you a weapon and learn how to use it, because it's one thing to have a gun and you never practice or you never touch it and familiarize yourself with it when it actually comes time for you to. I've seen where people try to shoot and they're shooting all in the air because they never really knew how powerful that gun, that kickback, when you shoot, shoot a weapon, how powerful it is. And a lot of people end up hurting themselves. And I think that was one of the biggest reasons why I was so against it, because I always felt like somebody would probably take my weapon from me and use it on me. And I was just like, you hear about people just thinking he would, a man, if it's a male trying to attack me, he would probably overpower me and take the weapon. So
I agree with you saying women should carry. Yes, I agree 100% with that women should carry.
Well, let's go around the round table, starting with you, Jay, man. Ask Tia some questions. Ask China Doll. It's up to you guys. Hit it.
Well, like I was saying, I agree that women should carry because these dumb MFers that pull up to the car next to you, you never know what they're going to do. Their buddy might get out and jump into your car, So, yeah, I agree that a woman should have it and know how to use it and be prepared to use it.
Yeah, I saw an instance where a woman, and she probably was a very petite woman, but got into a road rage, an argument with a gentleman about his size. And they're going at it, like barking at each other. And she pulled out her, he tried to attack her and she shot him and killed him. But it was like, well, what was she going to, I don't know. She could have handled it a different way. I really
basically saying, BD, you better start walking some more. Go ahead, Jay, man.
Well, if my daughter's in that case, in the same scenario, I would expect her to kill the person too. In the same scenario. So,
Dark, so good. Ask Tia or China Doll anything.
So, how long you been on the law enforcement?
Oh, almost 20 years from security and armed security and all of that. It goes back almost 20 years. Really since like 98. So, yeah.
Okay. All right. But, yeah, I agree. Actually, J-Man, everyone should carry. It's just not just women, everyone. And you should start them young. You should start them young. My daughter was 13 when I took her to the range, and then I signed her up for the NRA classes here in my town. She is listed as a sharpshooter, and
wow.
And there's a place, indoor paintball, where you can practice urban type scenarios. And every now and then you have the National Guard Army guys coming in there, and they kind of want to have some fun, And that's the best way to, here in town, close by, except going to the other ranges where you actually do live fire. But the paintball can be just as close to range and accurate as with the indoor setting. Just like with airsoft, that's another deal. You see these airsoft channels, left and right. There's ways of training and getting it out there. But yeah, you start young. I'm a firm believer in that. And more they know about it, the better they're going to be educated and go for it. Where you stand on that, T?
Is that me? Oh,
yep.
I absolutely agree with you. And the guy that taught the class when at my job, when we had to go to the shooting range, his children are your baby's age, 13 and 15, and he has them in the range, and they have their own guns, and he teaches them how to hunt. And I remember being with him, and a little girl ran up to him and was excited, like, "Mr. John, I killed my first deer." I get what did she say? The heart? Yes, she's I ate it. Wait, I bet it. And I was saying, I was like, oh my, this is a baby. And she was so excited, just a little bitty thing talking about, I killed my first deer. So I was just like, yeah, I agree with that. I think, and what you teaching her, that's awesome. And that's gonna be something that you guys can do together.
Yeah, we do.
Well, what I'm going to do now is, if everybody don't know by now, Tia is going to be starting her YouTube stuff, and China Doll is going to be helping out and stuff whenever she can. So I'm going to turn the show over to Tia and China Doll for you guys to interview the independent riders. Whatever subject you want to go for it. Tia first, and then China Doll. Go. We got J-Man, we got Dark Soul, we got Gray Star, and Bedlam.
Doing an interview. Okay. Oh wow. Look at this. He's funny.
That's Bedlam.
Bedlam.
Yeah.
Okay.
And there's Dark Souls corner up there.
Okay.
And that's Jamin Jammin. And
J-Man.
Gray Star.
J-Man.
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 Let's go. Today. I'm missing out on my cigarette break. Come on.
He's on my channel all the time, and I'm always saying, "Hey, Jammin," and his name is J-Man.
Oh, J-Man. I like that.
It's actually Jamin, but they call me J-Man, so it's fine.
Okay.
Well, go ahead, Tia and China Doll, hit it.
Well, we're all family here, and I'm glad. It's good to meet you guys. I just want to tell you that I am so happy to be a part of the whole biker life. I've gained a new respect for bikers. I wasn't knowledgeable about them at all when I was younger. Well, my dad was a hang around, and I just always looked at bikers in a negative light. And
Uh-oh.
I've come. You guys are so amazing, and I love you. And now that I met you, it's just like your family. And so I always want to know that you're doing good. When you're doing bad, it's like I feel sad. I'm not, happy. When you guys go through things, I understand, and I always like to know how you all are doing. And I just want to say I'm just happy to be a part of this lifestyle. I can actually, when I see bikers on the road, I feel I just want to say, look, you be careful out here. Or anytime I see a biker, if we're in the gas station, I'm like, oh, you having fun today, just to say something to them, because I feel like, we share the road and that makes us family. And after that, nothing else even matters. Religion.
You're interviewing.
Oh, okay.
He's doing great, man.
I don't know what to say. I'm kind of.
That's Bedlam. Ask him.
What are you talking about me, BD? Come on. Bedlam what?
Oh, they all have channels?
Yeah, they all have channels.
Oh, okay. Okay, so I'll start at the top. Let me start with Darks. I'm blind. I'm sorry.
Dark Souls corner.
Dark Souls, yeah. What advice can you give me as an up and coming YouTuber or starting my channel? What's some good advice you can give me?
Go ask me a Black Dragon, because I'm still learning this mess other stuff. I know a Gray Star have their thing going and stuff. I just figure out how to do thumbnails. All right.
I still haven't figured out how to do them.
Oh wow!
Really?
Learn something from doing this.
Yeah, I've been working with Bride, Bedlam, and Gray Star, and of course Hollywood and Black Dragon when we can get on our YouTube seminars and try to get up to speed. As right now, I only have 7 subscribers to my channel. Couldn't go live with this broadcast because I don't have 100 subs yet. So hey, go to Dark Souls Corner.
Well, you will one day. One day you'll be as big as these guys, and you'll be teaching people, and you'll tell them, I remember when I only had 7 subscribers.
Yeah.
So
China Doll.
What? Oh, hi guys.
Hi, China.
Hey.
I know all these guys. All right, here's a question, and this has to do with y'all concealed carry thing. And I'm gonna nail Black Dragon first on this one.
Oh,
Now, yeah, big man. We got all these guys going, they get to concealed carry. Okay. Do they think of the mental status of the person applying for that piece?
That's a good question.
Or should they?
Does who think of it?
The the people giving them their concealed carry? Do they have some sort of thing where they have to have their mental status checked in order to get their piece?
So in Georgia, as long as you have not been committed against your will, so if you had been committed, like if you go down and turn yourself into a mental hospital, that's not being committed against your will. So as long as you haven't been committed against your will, you don't have any oh my goodness, domestic abuse charges against you, and you're not a felon, then you can carry. Then you can carry concealed. So no, they're not asking your mental status. The reason I say that, I was down there getting a license one time, a permit, concealed carry permit, and the guy that they were giving a concealed carry permit license to was clearly mentally challenged. We don't use the R word anymore, so he was absolutely mentally challenged. But he wasn't so challenged that he couldn't go down there, sign for that license, and pick up that weapon. And he's got a right to defend himself like everybody else. So, no, not here. They don't. But if you've been, committed against your will or something like that, then no, you can't get one.
What about by you, Graystar?
In Utah, they ask you certain questions in the process of getting your concealed carry about your mental health, but that's the extent of it. And then, of course, you have to do the background check. If you can pass all that, it's not a problem. That's all. I mean, my crazy ass has one.
Yeah. It's kind of the same here. If you pass the background check and do your certification stuff, you go get your concealed carry. So,
do you feel if they did more of an intense background check as far as a mental status, that some of these crimes might not have been committed?
No, because most crimes are not committed by card-carrying gun owners.
Right. You think all that Chirac stuff's happening with people, lawful gun owners?
They're coming from people like me.
We're the only ones that obey the rules in the first place. It's the criminals that don't be doing what they supposed to be doing.
Close that door because that dog opened it. It's gonna be cold.
What about you, Dark Soul? What do they do for where you're at?
You gotta do a background check and then pay your fee, and you'll get your results within 30 to 40 minutes if you don't have anything. That was one time I was in there. A guy was waiting 4 days.
I was gonna say, you don't have a 5-day waiting period. That's our thing. If you go in to buy the gun, it's 5 days.
I went in there, and then within 30 minutes, I had mine.
Wow.
Now in Georgia, if you have your concealed carry permit, there's no wait at all.
Right. Here too.
Just show your concealed carry permit and buy your weapon. Now, if you don't have a concealed carry permit, I think there is a waiting period. I don't know how long it is.
Now, last question for everybody, since we're running on a 2-hour mark here.
Wow.
We'll go around the table. Again, don't forget to watch Tia and all them Sunday tomorrow at 6, I think they decided on.
6 p.m. Eastern.
No, 6 p.m. Central.
That's right, 7 Eastern. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Let's start going around the table. Last one, and then we'll go to final thoughts. Federal background checks, J-Man.
Federal background checks. Well, if they had the federal background checks, they would be just as crappy as the state checks. So why bother?
Dark Soul.
I agree with J-Man. It's just another infringement on your right. That's point blank. You know, it don't do any good. I mean, this national deal. Why does the government need to be in your freaking back pocket anyways? They just need to stay the hell out of our lives and leave us the hell alone.
Graystar.
I ditto exactly what they said.
Tia.
I didn't hear the question.
Federal background checks. Are you for or against them?
Oh
To get
wow,
weapons?
to get a weapon. No, I'm not for it.
Rock on. China?
Why bother?
Final thoughts on tonight's episode, J-Man.
I thought we had a great episode. We should have kept Chris on here a little longer. I mean, he could have been in the debate with us. If you're going to carry a gun, you better know how to use it. You better have the training you need to use it. And the main reason I don't carry when I'm outside the house, Gray Star, is because I don't know if I'm, like I said, going to get drunk, going to get high, what have you. That's
Dark
my final
Soul. Toby. What's the difference
Toby.
between federal background check and a national gun registry?
It's basically the same, Toby. It's basically infringement either way it goes and stuff. Why the government needs to know what you have. It's none of their damn business. You know what? I want to give the real reason why. Let's get really into it. They want to know what you had because what does the Second Amendment really state? What does it really state? Is to make sure
Protect
to
you
keep
from a
them,
tyranny government.
yeah, an infringement government keeps them in check. What did Let's Go Brandon say? You better have an F-16 and a nuclear bombs. Come on. So
I don't know, man. Before we came on the air and stuff, me and BD were talking about it. You might need some F-16s in the next couple of weeks, because they're pulling all our citizens out of Ukraine right now, and it looks like it's going to get down and nasty over there. Final thoughts, Graystar.
Well, like I said in the past on this show, it's better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it. And there's no way in hell that I will abide by any law that tells me I have to keep my gun in one place, my clip in the other. That is not happening. I carry to protect myself, and that's exactly, and my family, and that's exactly what I intend to do, no matter where I go.
Rock on. BD, before your final thoughts, Toby said, I'm not asking the difference. I'm asking, does one violate our rights any more than the other?
No.
I'd have to say no, too. And one's as bad as the other. So, what do you think,
Final
Dark
thoughts,
Soul?
BD.
So I'm all for federal background checks if we can have a federal concealed carry. And then I'm down, bro. So we don't have to do all this state garbage, blah, blah, blah. Give me my carry permit and let me go wherever the hell I want to go in the entire country. Let me get on an airplane with it. Let me do my thing. Let me go through the airplane line quicker than everybody else because I got one on me right here, baby. And next time several guys want to take over an airplane, you got more, you got a few of us out there to be able to be like, no.
Yeah, 9/11 would have never happened.
Yeah.
True.
Tia, what's your final thoughts?
Well, in order to operate a vehicle, you get a permit, and you have to undergo a certain amount of hours or training on the road and do the written test in order to get a driver's license. And I feel like to carry a weapon, that's just like operating a powerful, tool. And I believe that, as in law enforcement, no. Well, in law enforcement, you have
to talk.
Driver's licenses are not in the Constitution, honey.
Let her talk. Let her talk.
It's not a right, it's a privilege.
If you get caught without a driver's license, you can possibly be sent to jail, right? You can get arrested for not driving, for not having a driver's license.
Yeah,
while you're operating a vehicle.
We're going to talk about this.
I think you should undergo a certain, like when you go to register for the fire, to get the permit, you should have been to the gun range. you should have watched certain videos. I think it should be a law about that. But
You
just
and Jamin are the liberal cats on this
no,
stage.
seriously, I do believe. I mean, he's asking me what I think. That's what I think. I think that you shouldn't. It just shouldn't be issued to anyone freely.
But it's our Second Amendment right to bear arms, honey.
The guy in the middle is totally.
Everybody has their opinion. China down.
But I do believe you should go in training. Like, it's just like you don't want someone carrying a gun that never went to the shooting range. You know, a lot of people. I grew up around a lot of gun violence, and a lot of people would, when they do the drive-bys and they shoot up on the porch, they're shooting grandmothers, they're shooting grandbabies. They never hit the person that they're aiming for. So I'm not saying that I'm not really talking about them, but I feel like just anybody who is issued a permit should undergo a certain amount of training. They don't give a police officer a gun unless you have went through certain training.
Those people that are doing the drive-bys aren't legally possessing those
that's what I'm saying.
either.
Not even, I was just giving you an example about them, but just imagine if you give a police officer a gun and say, "Oh, you're a officer, you can carry a gun," without having training. Just imagine if they had to shoot that firearm without training. You're gonna just
with all the police shootings out nowadays. I think they need more training. Come on, let's be real.
Absolutely. I said you never get.
Well, yeah.
They do. They have to undergo training every year or every so often.
It's really sad when they go taser, 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 bang,
and it's a gun. Yeah.
China down. Your thoughts, and then I'll close her up.
My thoughts on this whole ordeal is if you respect your weapon, you need to respect your weapon. You need to know how to use it. And it's not always the weapon, it's the person.
Well, it sounds like we got 3 for training.
It's the definite person. The weapon never does the bad thing. It's the person using that weapon.
Rock and roll. Well, that was a great show, everybody. Tomorrow, Black Dragon. What do we got going on with you, man?
Oh, heck, we got the roundtable tomorrow, and to the roundtable tomorrow, 8 p.m. Eastern, where you'll have all of us talking about biker club stuff. And then Tia at 7 p.m. Eastern, we'll have the Biker Club Wives second installment. So that's really cool.
Rock and roll. And then we got the neutral zone at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, 9 p.m. Eastern. We're going to be talking about, the title is Bikers. They always defend the weak. It's going to be an incredible conversation about that one tomorrow. But it was a great show today. Hopefully you guys learned some stuff. It was a great debate. I love having debates on the channel and stuff like that. Don't forget to subscribe to Black Dragon's YouTube channel. And don't forget to buy the book. It is on Get the book. Anyway, thanks to the Independent Writers for another good one. We're out of here. Talk.